Do you struggle with the top tier grind with today's sponsor, 3GE for War Thunder? You might be able to make it a little bit easier. All you need to do is click the link in the description, download the app, complete some simple task and you'll get some small amounts of golden eagles. Now if you sign up with my promo code EPGEK, not only will you get 10 GE upon signing in, but every GE that you guys earn, I will get as well, that I will be able to give away again in huge batches a few times every year. Welcome back, and today we are going to be taking a look at some replays again that you guys have sent in. If you want to compete in this, or partake I should say, you can go to my Discord, assign yourself the roles, and then all the way on the top left you see a tab called Content Review. Just post your videos in there. Please don't post replays, because I'm a bit late with these. I don't always have time to keep up to date with them, and they expire. So I'd rather just have you put up a video on YouTube or something of the equivalent, so I can click it, watch it, and then we can look at your mistakes and see what went wrong. So I'd rather have you send in clips where you die. You can send in dogfights where you win or maybe survive. If there is something to take away from it, I don't care about flat spin kills, long snipes, you know. This is not a showcase channel where you can flex your epic kill. We are here to try and learn something. So let's get right into that. So we are fighting the A6M2 with a 109 F4. Now I'm gonna give you outright that this is a pretty rough fight, mainly because the 0 is very annoying to fight in a 109. With the 109 you want to be slow, you want to force people into the stall them out, spiral them, out energy them, and kill them that way as they are basically defenseless. The issue is that an A6M stalls very late, and you basically can't really energy trap it in this kind of sense. You need to be fast and you need to get separation. The 109 isn't fantastic at this, but the A6M2 luckily has a worse enough engine, bad enough engine, and it's slow enough to the point where you can actually capitalize on it. So here's the first mistake. It's a very small one, it's very minor, but this will come back to you later on. Now I haven't watched the entire thing yet, and this time I'm not gonna watch it in its entirety at once. I just want to scroll back instantly, because right here, what you can do, you're probably going to make this mistake a few more times, so I just want to showcase it instantly. Over here, you go over him. You're going pretty slow, we're only going about 183 miles an hour, which is roughly like 250-ish, I think. It's better to have a little bit more speed here, and just go over him. Don't really worry about all these maneuvers that you're doing right here. What you want to do is simply merge. And going a bit to the side is fine, because it opens up the distance, makes him climb towards you more, makes him lose more speed. You are at a medium to high altitude, so he's not going to be performing too good. All you really want to do is simply create some distance, but not enough to the point where he can go head on. So you want to just kind of not waste all your energy here. You're going 246 IS, 300 miles an hour, just ground speed, which is more than sufficient with the energy advantage that you have right here. So I recommend to just kind of keep this trajectory, let him come up to you, and then do what you were doing, because the movement in itself wasn't necessarily wrong. So we go up over him, we're going super slow, we're directly on top of him, and now we go down a little bit, and this gives him more position. This is the second thing that I saw. Here, you actually could have gone up a little bit more, even with the energy discrepancy that you have, or rather the difference in general. It might look like he might be able to pull in, and he is going to get pretty close, but he is almost stalling out, and you are almost directly above him. So if he wants to pitch up for this, he needs to pull a lot, and he's already basically falling out of the air. So I feel like if you went up right there, you probably would have been fine. Now if you had a little bit more energy, you never want to do that. You can see here that he's trying to pull in, he doesn't have the energy. So if you went up, you probably would have killed him right then and there. Now you go into a bit of a spiral, and here starts to get a little bit sus. You probably get away with it right here, because, well, he just doesn't have any energy. And you go into a bit of a raid fight. And the issue here is that, yes, you have more energy. Yes, you are faster. But his turning circle is just so small that if you try to force this kind of fight, you're never going to get guns on. Now, you can outrate him. You can wait for him to basically pitch up into you. But you can tell that he is just sitting right there. If you're fighting a Spitfire, a Yak tree, or not a Yak tree, yeah, Yak tree at this kind of altitude, you might get away with it. But a 0, the issue is it just turns too tight. It doesn't stall, it will keep this incredibly tiny circle up, and you're probably never going to be hitting him. So, even though the rate, you know, you may be raiding a little bit quicker right now, because he's so slow, you're still never going to get shots on him just because this guy won't stall out. Now, if you are doing this to store up energy to then go vertical, it's valid, but it doesn't look like you are actually doing that. Now, you're going to try to pull in behind him here. You're also looking at the B7. Overall, that's okay, but this raid fight is basically unsustainable. So I'm going to... Normally, I don't do this, but I feel like you're just going to be raiding him until something happens. B7, not really an issue here. He's not really gaining on you, but he is at the same time. You know, you're not getting anywhere. You try to go vertical here. And because it's an A6M2 and he doesn't have a functional engine at this altitude, you will not get shot down right here. The issue is you are also not getting the shot. And you are slowly draining his balls. But keep in mind, he still has altitude. He can use it to dive. And if he goes straight for a little bit here and then pitches in, you're essentially dead. And yes, again, you have enough energy to do this. But this is sus. He might just be able to pull in here. It's going to be pretty close. You might be able to get away with it. But, you know, this is very sketchy. Now, you get away with it here. And that's fine. But again, you didn't gain any position. And it's the exact same thing when I say, take some risk. If you don't, you basically give the enemy infinite opportunities, and that's what you're doing right here. Now understand that the A6M is very annoying to deal with in a 109. I completely understand it. It's a fight that I'm not very fond of myself. And the B7A2 is also not helping your case. So let's see if this is why the video went on for like, what is it, 10 minutes? 10 minutes, 11 even. Here you basically turn in front of him. You kind of equalize the altitude. And if you equalize altitude with an A6M, and you stall yourself out and you go up like this, you give yourself, yeah, there you go. It gives him a very easy shot. Now you get out of it, and luckily the A6M2 has very weak guns, very low velocity cannons, and you get away with it because of that. If this guy wasn't fully up-tiered, if this was any other Zero, this is a death sentence. Now you're equal on altitude, you're not going super fast, and again you go into the raid fight. Try to create some distance. Don't get stuck in these loops that you are doing right here, because you're not going to get anywhere. So it's not necessarily terrible. You're kind of like delaying it because he just doesn't have the power, and that's fine. But right here again, you are not that much higher. He's not that much slower. Look at him. He's not losing that much distance on you. But you're faster, and this is what you should have done a little bit earlier. Now you get away from them, you outclimb both of these guys quite substantially, and you didn't really give up that much position, because the A6M in a dogfight, in like a raid fight like that, is already, you know, in a very good position to kill you. So breaking off and resetting doesn't really harm you in the long run. So this is completely fine. Just break off. Should have done this a little bit earlier. But you know, we are here to learn, so there's nothing wrong with it. So you are going to extend a little bit. I'm going to fast forward it because this clip is long enough as it is. You try to get some separation, and that's fine. Issue is the B7A2 is also coming in. And he is pretty close to you in a dogfight. So you do want to have more energy than him, and you do have that right now. A6M is going to be in the same spot as he has been for the last 5 or so minutes. And we merge with the B7. Now here, personally, I would say, go head on a little bit quicker, get a little bit more speed in the head on so you can actually dodge, because if this guy is suicidal, you die right here. So we go head on last second, he doesn't really do anything. Okay, he just gave you that kill, kind of lucky. And now we are back to square one with the A6M2 directly on our ass. Now let's see if he's going to extend. He does. Okay, now you see that you should extend, and this is fine. This is what you should have done initially. Of course, you had a 2v1 and it does throw a lot of people off, and I get it. 2v1s are very different. It's a lot of decision making and not so much about the small fight. So I get it. I'm not going to hammer you for it. But here, we separate. We have a lot more energy, and this is completely fine. Now here, okay. This is going to be kind of sus, because, well, the distance isn't too great. We are at 25,000 feet, which is like 6 kilometers, roughly, I think. And this is what I mean. You stalled out. He is not going to stall because it's a Zero. And he might just get super close to you. And if you get close to him while you're going super slow, even though he doesn't have a functional engine up here, you're going to die. Now, you're very lucky that this guy didn't attack you early enough. Because if this guy had started pulling in a little bit earlier, like right about here, he would have very easily killed you. Or at least damaged you a little bit. At least got on the shot. If he's bad or not, sure, you might survive it. But you don't want to bet on those things. So how are we gonna salvage it? Because now we are basically below him. We have more energy, but this is a tough spot to get out of, because the zeros on your 6 are very annoying. Now luckily this A6M2 has very little clue on what to do. You should probably send in his perspective as well, as we are looking at this. The thing is that he can't really do much, and this is the first time he actually made a mistake, because all he did before was keep his cursor on you, and which is basically all you need to do. Now here, this right here is a death trap. Now you're probably going to survive it, because the clip is like 4 more minutes long, but if I hadn't known, I would have said you probably die right here, unless you break off early enough. You're not doing that. You are not getting in that head-on ever. And again, you're lucky that this zero does not attack you. He could have been flying at you from roughly where my mouse is right now, and he'd be like 700 meters away. You're going 200 miles an hour. Very easy shot. He's going to get very close, and he's just going to slam you. Now, luckily for you, he kind of waits, and he plays for position when he really shouldn't. So he's, again, just a little bit too late. So we break off. What are we going to do? Are we going back into the raid? I think we are. Okay, at this point, I think we kind of get the point here. At this point, you can kind of do it, but again, he doesn't have... He's nowhere near slow enough, and you just give him the easiest shot in the world. And again, the only reason you win, or you survive this, is because his 20 mils are slow as balls. I can probably throw a Big Mac faster than those 20 mils fly out of the barrel. Now here, it's basically game over. So, I'm going to see how you reset this. You're probably going to try and run away, which what you should do, because reversing him is absolutely no way that's going to happen. We go up again, and at this point it's pretty clear what's going on here. A plane that doesn't stall is hard to kill in a 109. I get it. But this is not the way. Because right now, again, you're going to give yourself a super easy shot, or you're going to give him a super easy shot, and you're not gaining any position. And again, the only reason that this guy isn't just absolutely slobbering your nuts is because he just doesn't pull in time. This guy is playing like he's playing something like... maybe another 109. You know, he's trying to get position. Maybe he's flying something like a P-51 that isn't very good at like low speed dogfighting. And he's trying to get position behind you so that, well, you run out of energy or something of the equivalent. With a zero, you don't want to play passively. You want to be aggressive in this kind of situation, because of him not attacking, you basically get the biggest windows known to man. So at this point it's essentially over. He's on you, he has an energy advantage at this point, and I read the description and I know it's not gonna... This is just a repeat of you constantly doing the same mistake. So I know that the timer's gonna run out. It was very much anticlimactic for an ending. Overall, I get what you are trying to do, and you got hit quite a bit more here. If you were fighting a plane that stalls a little bit later with the same kind of energy, what you did was fine. The issue is that the zero just has such a tiny turning circle that all your maneuvers basically never gave you any ground. You were on the defensive from the second this clip started, which is almost 11 minutes, and your plane has much more energy. So this is really not necessary. So try, especially with the merge here. Come on. Come on. Would be great if you start working. There we go. So, with the merge here, when you fly over him, try to not drop as much speed and just keep flying straight here. He needs to complete more of a turn. He needs to come up to you more, and then basically you can go straight up. Now this P-47 should have helped you realistically, if he doesn't get killed by someone else. Let's take a look at it. I didn't see him initially. He's probably going to go for someone. Ah, he's going head on with the P7. No, that's why he died, didn't he? Now, don't bleed as much speed in the merge. Merge a little bit further away with a plane like this. If you were straight here, maybe even more to the left of the screen, you would have been completely fine. You probably could have gone up instantly. You would have stalled him out and you would have killed him. And if not, you want to reset. You don't want to go into that spiral thing or that flat turn thing, because it doesn't give you any ground and it doesn't give you any energy advantage either, because you are burning it all while turning. He's also burning his speed while turning, but he can maintain a much lower speed in that turn. So he doesn't really get a massive energy disadvantage, because he can just keep turning at like 150 and just kind of sit on your ass. So just understand these super low stalling planes a bit better. Other than that, I think you are kind of fine. I don't think this is absolutely helpless. I think you were just helpless against an enemy like this. Because you do show signs of knowing how energy works, but it doesn't work against zeros. You need to play those things absolutely differently. Alright, let's take a look at the next one. We have the F86A5 against, and I am not sure yet. Alright, and then we have a EPGEK 3, I think it is, versus a Wyvern and a P51. I'm not entirely sure which P51 it is just yet. We will see that in a second. It is a 4.3 match though, so it might be a D10, it might be a C. We'll see in a minute. Now there's another P51 next to him. I'm going to assume that he's just going to trade head-on with the P63, considering the title. Otherwise it would be 2 P51s, right? Is it actually going to happen? That'd be so fucking funny. Nope, he just gets absolutely clobbered. Incredible. Right here. Yeah, never mind. That's a good choice. I would say go for the Wyvern, but the Wyvern broke off and he's trying to run away. So, ignore what I said. Good. Go for the P51C. You basically have him by the balls here. Very easy kill. Unfortunate skill issue, aim. I'm glad you said it yourself. Now we turn in. We get behind the P51. That's completely fine. Try to dodge the other P51 in the meantime. And you are at a massive advantage here in terms of performance. So taking them into a dogfight is completely understandable. Going vertical here is okay. Not really anything wrong with it. I would personally play it a little bit more horizontal, because it makes you very susceptible for third-party attacks. Against the P51, yeah, this is fine. That didn't really hit you. That is like, I think, some server desync. But this is why. You want to keep it a little bit more horizontal. Now this shot might be bullshit, because this is nowhere near you. But getting this slow in the middle of the match, especially like this early on, it very much opens you up for enemy players that are coming in with altitude, that are patient, you know, stuff like that. So keeping it a little bit more horizontal, especially like right here. So you merge with the P51, you kind of get him on your 6, and this dodge is good. Get out of his guns, you can raid into this direction all day long. And here, you kind of break off and change direction, giving him some angle. And then you go straight vertical. Now you have the energy to do this. If you're one-on-one, you will probably win. But you need to look around in order to see if you can actually do this reliably. And there is a chance that this guy, the other P51, I'll scroll back a little bit. Or the Wyvern that's about to come in or turn around. Like if you stall yourself out, even these guys that are having very low energy states might be able to pitch in and just spray you down. And you want to avoid this, especially in the furballs. Now this is nowhere near you. I understand that's just kind of what happens sometimes in War Thunder. But here, you're in a good position. You can raid this guy all day long, but you are not able to react to anything else. And this is not a 1v1 lobby. This is an Era B match, and you might have 15 other pilots in the enemy team that will go for you. B7 misses, luckily for you. Kind of portrays what I was trying to say. Look around and see if your movements are available to do. He would have killed you if he had any type of aim. Now here, the issue that I see here is that you keep this slow ass rate up while that Homare over here, where is he? Well, you know where he is right up there. He's gonna dive on you in like 10 seconds again. And you're doing everything you can to get as slow as possible again. Now this guy gets on your 6, 400 meters, and you're not going particularly quick. Now he breaks off, kind of lucky, but you give your 6 to the P51 again. Now let's see how you fix this, because this was terrible, but I'll go back to that in a second. You completely outrate this dude, but he's on your 6, he's a little bit faster, he can probably pull a bit harder. And we're reaching the point where you start compressing more than him, so he might just be able to turn into you. So you get out of his guns. I don't know what just hit you. What happened there? Am I having an aneurysm? Okay, probably just delayed on the physical damage. Wyvern comes in, and this is exactly what I mean. Now we are just gonna keep playing it for a second. P51 is still in your 6. You need to start juggling him. You need him off you. You're not going to be able to get away from him in this kind of state. So I actually recommend now to get a little bit slower. A little bit earlier already. Yeah. Your team is dead. This is rough. Don't get me wrong. The Wyvern, the Homare, the P51, and the other P51, the 190, you don't have a team. It's a massive L. But there are things you could have done better. So I want to take a look at that. This guy right here, you want to slow down a little bit. You want to try to get behind him. Or go into a bit of a raid fight kind of deal. But again, the raid fight is going to open you up for enemy attacks. And you don't want to have that. But this is yeah, it's just kind of shitty. Because right now you're doing the thing that I always say. You're sitting in front of him, you're not gaining any ground, and eventually the guy with enough opportunities will simply kill you. And you're going super slow, and because you're going so slow, it's very hard for you to actually dodge his shots. Yeah, this is a good thing to think about. Yes, you are defensive flying, but your guns still work when someone passes in front of you. But yeah, at this point it's over. It's completely over. So the main thing here is, it's the very first move of this match. Let's take a look at it. Now, first of all, you should have hit this, but you know, and this shit happens. I'm not going to rip on you for it. We're just going to pretend that this guy never existed, right? Even if he wasn't there, didn't change much about the game. Right here, you miss. Yes, unlucky. Whatever. He fucks off the Narnia, and you don't have to worry about him anymore. P-51 comes in from the top. What do? We stay aggressive on the guy that we're on the 6 of. Understandable, would have done the same. This guy comes in. What do you want to do here? He's coming at a 90 degree, he's about 500 meters away, and he's 300 meters away, and he's pulling almost lead. So what do we want to do is pull into him. What do? You pull down. And because of this, you essentially just turn directly into his guns. Do you see it? He was pulling up. One sec. He was pulling into the direction of our plane. So if we go up, he needs to complete more of a circle to get a shot on us. But instead, we go down. So what does that do? Now, he doesn't have to keep turning. He can just fly straight and he has the shot already. All he needs to do now is roll over and pull into the shot. If someone is behind you, they don't need to turn nearly as much to get a shot on you. That's just how it works. If you angle like 1 degree, 2 degrees up, you all know this, that if you angle a little bit, the further away you go, the more impact that angle has. So if someone has a lot of distance on you, it's like 300 to 500 meters, they don't need to pull as much as you do in the slightest sense of the word. So they can just pull a little bit and they get a shot. All they need to do now is roll over and shoot you. Go up there, and then you might be able to kill him, or at least try to reverse him. But you went down here, you gave him a lot of position, then we go down again, even more. We start compressing, and this guy now has your 6. Yes, you are still outturning him at this point, but we have a B-51, we have a Wyvern, a 109 on the deck. We know now that there's an Omare in orbit as well. Keep looking around, very important. Like, this is kind of fine as like a salvage, but again, he is about as fast as you, if not faster. He compresses less, and when you pull up like this, guess what happens when you go vertical? Your turn rate decreases as you slow down. At least to a certain point. If you're compressing, of course not. But when you start going slower, you start turning less. And your enemy needs to turn less than you in order to shoot you. And he has the same amount of energy, roughly. So it's very easy for him to shoot you down. Now you are going to get away with it because of the position here. But again, you roll out of the way. And you make him not complete his turn the second time. You don't need to change direction here. That 190 is not going to do anything, and you basically just allow the P-51 to get a lot of angle back instantaneously. Now here, you start going horizontal, and yeah, it's bullshit that he hit you, but at the same time, you kind of asked for it by everything that you did. So yes, he shouldn't have hit you right here, but you also shouldn't have been in this position whatsoever. Now, once you are in this position, you can go into a very small spiral. I would keep it horizontal for a little bit, outrate him, or maybe even dive a little bit to pick up a little bit of speed, outrate him, and once you start gaining angle, once you start getting away from him in the rate, you can start going up. But here, he's already pulling in. He needs to pull less. He has plenty of energy. You're still going 305 IAS, which is enough to pull in. P-51C is also very maneuverable, and this is just basically giving him the freest shot imaginable. Now, we get away with it, and we basically stall ourselves out. And this is fine, but you know, just because you're not looking around, the P-51 probably would have died there. A little bit, you know, a little bit sketchy, but the plane performance really carried you against that P-51. If you are not on the Yak 3 and something less maneuverable with less retention, for example, even if you did that stall maneuver at the end there, or before the B7 came in, he probably would have just pitched in and killed you. Luckily, you're on a Yak 3 and this guy is essentially stalled out. Overall, not the worst just some small things that you need to work on. The last moments is basically unwinnable. It's just like, it's too much shit going on. You set yourself up badly at the start, and that bites you in the ass, or bit you in the ass a few minutes later. Alright, F5E FCU versus F4S. Now, I truly wonder how this is gonna end. You're probably gonna kill him, right? Okay, you do. I just needed to know for sure. But I do wonder why you sent this in. Because you are talking about mistakes. So I'm curious. First missile coming in. Dodge with a mountain. Completely understandable. Completely fine. I see a second dot on the radar. I'm not sure if it's the actual player or if it's a bot. There he is. He's flying away. Reverse into his turn. You're basically giving him control here. And this guy is now planted on your 6. Now it's an F4C or for F4S. So you will just kill this guy. But right now you're not getting anywhere. Again, start turning versus these people. There is no reason to bob and weave like this. If you do this versus someone with decent aim, you're dead. Now you reverse him, go for the reversal shot, and at this point you've already won. It's literally all about not getting killed instantly, and after that you just win. So I'm not entirely sure what you are trying to show me with this clip. I'm gonna be entirely honest with you. Now you're just spraying out your ammo, you're not even like near him with your cursor. Now you finally are, but you see that everything is falling short. So I would tell you to pull a bit more lead. Now this guy runs out of ammo. F4S or F4C is just stalling himself out. You overshoot for no reason, almost pull into his guns. This guy is also carrying like 2 billion rockets. Evading reversal. This guy is hanging by a thread. I'm just gonna keep this in the video. I'm not entirely sure why, but I feel like people are gonna find this kind of entertaining. It's my brother in Christ. What am I watching? Helaas pindakaas. Oh my fucking god. Well, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Good job on killing him, I guess. Epic fight. Yeah, that's yeah, that's that. Now we have the F-86A5 against a few planes. We have a G91 R4, a MiG-15 and an LA-15. I'm not sure if it's a MiG-15 BIS or just a regular one. There is a 8.3 in the game here with the, or maybe 9.0 even. That's an 8.7 CL-13, so it might be the MiG-15 BIS as well. It's basically going to be the other point of view as the previous clip with the A6M and the 109, because now you are the one without the engine. I have a G91 up here, and I'm going to assume that's the one you're going to be dogfighting in a second. Are you going to react to him? Because right now you are just climbing, you're not really getting speed. There you go, thank you very much. You're going to dive out and pick up a bit of speed to actually fight the G91. Now you're looking around, he's not spotted, and the way you are looking around, I think this is not the camera that you have when you are actually in the game. I think that you are just using free look, and you didn't see the G91, did you? Here he comes. Here he comes. Even in the replay, you don't know he's coming. Here he comes. Exactly like that. Incredible. So, first thing here, awareness. Incredibly poor. Even with the replay, you couldn't look at him. So, this instantly puts you on the back foot. G91 is perfectly dogfightable, but you do want to set up a little bit. You don't want him directly on your ass. He loses more speed than you. He has better acceleration at low speed. He is roughly the same amount of nimbleness, kinda. You do win in the like prolonged department when it comes to retention, but you do want to set up properly. You don't want this guy slower on you on your 6, because he will just be able to pull in and spray you down. Now luckily he only has 450 cals, but you want to avoid it altogether. So we go up over his nose. Very poor line here, you don't really pull in time, but he's compressing and you get the first shot. Now you don't get the shot, or does it just shoot without sound? Okay, you shot. Good. You shot. Oh, we got to click. These guns are jammed, I guess. Now I have no idea what you're looking at, so I'm kind of inclined to oh my god. This is basically unwatchable. For anyone that sends in these clips, I'm gonna play this one out so it doesn't happen in the future. Click your little 2 up here. The little 2. And that will go to the camera that you had while you were playing. So I can actually tell what you're looking at. Right now, I got no clue. This guy is not looking around even in the replay, so it's very hard for me to tell what's going on. The dogfight here, G91 is going to pull into... Yeah, he's going to very easily pull into that. You narrowly miss, or he narrowly misses. And now you just kind of want to get away for a second. And that's what you do, so that's good. Can you please just keep that guy on the center of the screen? I feel like you are scrolling Subway Surfer TikToks while you are trying to show me this replay. You fly straight for quite a long while. That almost hits you. That's fine, I guess. I mean, nothing really happened. Are you scrolling on like TikTok right now? Like, why is the camera not moving? Like, what's going on with your replay? Are you doing something else? Because this feels very much low effort. You came back. That's incredible. Almost got missiled again. Insane. You shot at someone. I'm not sure what happened because you are looking backwards for some godforsaken reason. Now, it's fine that you got away, shot someone else, and then went for the reversal. Something I would have done, but I can't tell what's going on. So we reverse this guy, or at least we're gonna try to. We need to dump a little bit more speed in him. You want to go up over his nose. Not, yeah, okay, that works, I guess. And now you should be able to pull in. Now you don't overuse your air brake, which is always good to see. G91 is taking just absolutely terrible lines. He's being very wide with the turns here, which basically just gave you free position. You don't have the energy for that. Well, you do, but you're probably gonna get third-partied if you do that. So you break off, and you kind of just climb away. Now this guy is very easily gonna catch you because he just has more energy than you. And then you scroll TikTok again. You're back to your senses. That's incredible. You pull in. He's a little bit too fast, not able to get the nose on, and you go up over his nose, almost die again. And honestly, I don't really know where to start here. It feels like you are playing like every 2 seconds. Like massive, like 2000 millisecond ping or whatever. But just, you know, you're watching your TikTok and after you finish it, you're allowed one input. Be more reactive. Look at what your enemy is doing. And I'm sure it's less bad when I'm actually looking at it in game. But I don't know, it's giving me like ADHD brain. You're about to pitch in here. Now this guy just kind of fucked himself. Not really something that you did. I'm terribly sorry. And here you just want to pull in. You don't want to go behind him and do something. But luckily this guy just pulls into your gun. This is probably where you kill him. No, you didn't. I mean, that's fine, I guess. But you need to start killing someone. Wait, who did you kill? One kill in this dogfight. Who did you kill? Did you kill like a... Oh, whatever. I thought you were going to kill the G91. That was going to be the kill, but it wasn't. So the G91 is now behind you. MiG-15 bis will just absolutely rinse you. This is basically an unwinnable fight at this point. But what you can do is try to reverse him as quick as possible. Be aggressive and then try to pull in. But what you do here instead is you focus all your attention on the MiG-15. He's draining your balls. And now the G91 will very easily just kind of slot onto your 6. I mean, at this point the game is essentially over. You're too slow. Against two planes that very much complement each other in the fight. Now you might be able to get the nose in here, but I don't think you will be able to because this guy is keeping his energy. You barely get the shot. You didn't hit anything though. But at this point it's over. Yeah, the replay here is basically your main enemy. It don't really matter what happens anymore because you're just dead. I've seen enough. Yeah, this is in terms of the replay, it's terrible to look at. Please, for the future, everyone that wants to send something in, completely fine. I don't care how bad your gameplay is. That's not a sneer at the guy that is actually like recording this. But for anyone that like, if the replay is unwatchable, I can't really comment on it. Oh, this guy, I don't know. I have no words actually, because I couldn't see half of the shit that was going on. But you want to be a little bit more aggressive. You want to be a little bit more decisive, and you don't want to like do these half-assed. And I don't mean that in a mean way. I just don't do these half maneuvers where you like kind of pull in and then go passive, and then at the same time go aggressive, and you try to attack, but you also try to defend at the same time. You need to commit to one thing and kill the guy or defend against the guy. You can't really like go defensive and then halfway think, maybe I need to go aggressive, or the other way around. You're trying to use your energy to turn around. You're faster than your enemy. You have more energy. And then halfway you think, I'm gonna air brake. Because all you did now is put yourself in a position where with more energy you might have been able to do something. But you pop your air brake out. And now you're too slow to do it. And you simply just kill yourself. It's not gonna work. Very little to talk about here. I'm terribly sorry. And I'm definitely gonna put this at the end of the video. So people don't just click away. So thank you all for watching. Feel free to send in the stuff on the Discord channel, and I'll see you all in the next one.